What's up? What's
up?
YouTube family? How y'all doing out there?
Hope y'all having a good day.
Yes.
Always good to see you here.
Yep.
Don't forget, let me just start with this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys for...
Push the button.
You see that button.
Comment,
Push that.
man.
Yep. And yes, also make sure that you comment as well.
Yeah.
All right, so the media is lying to you about George Floyd and Ma'Khia Bryant.
Oh, I got to hear this, man. Because you put this up. I haven't seen this yet. So.
I have not saw this one either. No, because,
And who's doing this, Candace?
This Candace.
Okay, all right. So, she keep it real, man. She draws a line.
Love that about her. Love that about
her. She
her.
draws a line, man. And she just, it is what it is with her. And that's what I love about her, man.
Because you're going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be the truth.
Yep.
All right.
Hello and welcome, and we can just get right into this because you know what we are going to cover today. We obviously have to cover the George Floyd trial conclusion, which is that Derek Chauvin is guilty on all counts. And I have to appreciate people that were trying to create a pressure campaign for me on Twitter saying, I wonder what Candace is going to say. Even Republicans agreed that this was the right call. I don't care who agrees that this was the right. I don't care if it's a Republican. I don't care if it's a Democrat. I don't care if it's a white person. I don't care if it's a black person. I am not so much of an intellectual coward that because the mob decides something, because the lie about George Floyd and the way that he lived his life.
We are Spartans! That's what I'm talking about, man. She keep it real. She's a Spartan, man.
Out the gate.
Keep it real, baby. We are Spartans.
Kick your foot.
It has become so big that we just have to now accept it as the truth. And believe me, this is a lie. Nancy Pelosi yesterday said, quote, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice. She also said, quote, that his name will always be synonymous with justice. George Floyd's name will always be synonymous with justice. You have got to be kidding me. And don't tell me it doesn't matter. It does matter. This is the most important part, that he is now becoming synonymous with justice. Let me remind you guys, I've done it before, right? When the media was spinning all the lies and the media first came out and they said, oh, George Floyd was just getting his life together. He moved to Minnesota. He got released from prison in 2014. He was just getting his life together. You remember that? Do you guys remember that media depiction of St. George, who was just doing things for kids and just loved the kids and really was trying to set a good example and was just getting his life together? Until I reminded people of what his actual record was, because it became apparent to me that there was a reason that they were not producing the police footage, because they wanted to make sure that the lie was perpetuated around the world and repeated over and over again before the truth could get up from bed and put its shoes on. And here is the truth. Here is the person whose life and whose name is now synonymous with justice, Nancy Pelosi. George Floyd has a rap sheet, and I'm going to remind you guys of it again today. He was arrested for delivery of a controlled substance. He was arrested and put into jail. He was arrested for theft. He was arrested for theft again. He spent 10 months and 10 days in jail. He was arrested for failure to identify. He spent 15 days in jail. He was again arrested for possession of a controlled substance, less than 1 gram of cocaine. He was then arrested for trespassing, no forcible entry. He was arrested for delivery of a controlled substance. He was arrested for possession with intent to manufacture or distribute, another 30 months in jail total. He was arrested for aggravated robbery with a dangerous and deadly weapon. And that has really got to be the most significant arrest for me because of how sick what he did was. Ready? Here's a statement. At this time, a black Ford Explorer pulled up in front of the complainant's residence. The complainant that we're talking about, the woman, had somebody knock on her door and say that they were from the water department. And then that person forced their way into her home, and then a Ford Explorer pulled up, and there were 5 other black males that exited.
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not more, just from this app on my phone.
And this vehicle and proceeded to the front door. The largest of these suspects forced his way into the residence. This is George Floyd. Forced his way into the residence, placed a pistol against the complainant's abdomen and forced her into the living room area of the residence. The large suspect then proceeded to search the residence while another armed suspect guarded the complainant, who was struck in the head and side areas by the second armed suspect with his pistol after she screamed for help. I should also mention that there was a toddler in the residence at the time that this happened. A toddler that was traumatized by what George Floyd did. A woman who was traumatized by what George Floyd did. Various people who were traumatized throughout the life of George Floyd. He left a wake of victims. That is what happened. He had so many victims throughout his life, but right now, world has decided that he is just a wonderful human being. You're not allowed to talk about his record. Not allowed to talk about any of these. There are children that are running around with George Floyd shirts. There are murals that have been constructed dedicated to George Floyd because his name has now become synonymous with justice. I guess my question is, justice for who? How do I do that? How do I live a life so that people say Candace Owens' name is synonymous for justice? It's not telling the truth. People hate that. People say you're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to talk about who this person actually was because the media has agreed on a narrative before the truth has gotten out about who this man was. Getting his life together? Is anybody still buying that anymore? Oh, no, never mind. It actually turns out that at the time of his arrest, he had fentanyl in his system. He also had methamphetamine in his system. We also learned that the week prior, he had had an overdose. But none of that matters because now we live under mob rule. Mob rule just says that if a black man dies and a white person is around while that black person dies, it is a racially motivated crime. They've never proved that. Nothing about this was about race at all. But it doesn't matter because now George Floyd has been propped up, and this is what we have to agree on. Nobody's allowed to tell the truth. Why are they doing this? Why can't we honestly have an assessment and come to an agreement, by the way? I would have been perfectly comfortable if people said Derek Chauvin was guilty of manslaughter. I'm comfortable with that charge. I'm not comfortable with the lies that have been told repeatedly about who this man was. If you care about black lives, if you're watching this thinking, Candace, I just care about black lives, then why can't we discuss black criminality at the same time? Because usually on the other end of black criminality is a black victim. That was the case with Jacob Blake. That was the case over and over again with George Floyd. That's also the case with, and let's talk about the person that was trending all last night and all this morning, Ma'Khia Bryant, is that her name? The woman, the young woman that they're now saying, a 16-year-old girl in Columbus, Ohio, who was shot on Tuesday by police. Did you guys see the clip of her mother? She was shot and killed by police because she was attempting to stab another girl. It's on camera. She was a knife-wielding maniac. But those details don't matter. Don't forget. Because her mother came out and said that Ma'Khia had a motherly nature about her. She promoted peace. Ma'Khia Bryant's mother wants you to know that the knife-wielding maniac that you saw is not who she really was. Maybe in that moment she was trying to kill somebody, but the point that we should be focused on is that Ma'Khia Bryant liked to promote peace in her spare time, right? I mean, this is like, I feel like we have now tapped into fiction. Like now we have to just accept fiction. It doesn't matter because Ma'Khia Bryant was black and she died at the hands of a police officer, and that's all that matters now. People want to come out and they want to support Ma'Khia Bryant. Maybe she too, like George Floyd, will be buried into a gold casket. Maybe eventually one day Nancy Pelosi will say that Ma'Khia Bryant's name will be synonymous with justice. Let me tell you what is actually happening in America at this time. If you're a black American, you better pay attention. Right now in America, the goal is to make sure that black people love and support criminality. That is the goal. The express goal now is to make black people believe that we should be in the streets, rioting and looting and demanding justice for criminals, right? Because that is what these people are. They're criminals. George Floyd was in the process of committing a crime. I'm not saying he deserved to die. I don't think anybody deserved to die. I think he deserved to be arrested. They attempted to arrest him. Did you forget that part? Have you seen the full video of his arrest? The media refuses to show the full video that shows the police tried to put him into the vehicle multiple times, and he resisted arrest by saying, I'm claustrophobic, because he had just ingested fentanyl. Fentanyl,
Was he
that thing
arrested
that's
before?
100 times more potent than morphine. He had just ingested it because he didn't want to again get caught with a controlled substance, as he had done repeatedly throughout his life. Let's ignore it.
I need your help because we have to fight back every single day. They have all the big guns. We're
Testimony from his girlfriend who said that they were both addicted, which, by the way, that is sad. Drug addiction is sad. We can be talking about drug addiction. We should be talking about drug addiction. That would be a meaningful discussion, but instead, let's ignore all of these things that would help us fix Black America. Let's not talk about drug abuse. Let's not talk about drug dealers. Let's not talk about criminality. Let's not talk about why Ma'Khia Bryant had a knife and was trying to stab a woman to death.
And she said,
Let's just talk about Black victimhood. Because the discussion about Black victimhood almost guarantees us that in the future, Black neighborhoods are only going to get worse. When you start celebrating criminals, that is, of course, what is going to be the end result. We're going to have more Black death. We're going to produce more Black failures because we're not allowed to talk about the truth anymore. And Republican and Democrats are even saying that this is good, right? So let's not talk about it. It's just been agreed. The lie has been agreed upon. Don't say anything. If you tell the truth, Candace, you're a bad person. I don't care what I am called. Just because right now in this country we are facing a pandemic of cowardice, because people are too scared once the mob says that this is what must be said and these are the only things that can be said, because the media has now created a system, a successful system of propaganda where people don't even know what the truth is because the lie has been said over and over and over again. That does not mean that I'm going to back down to the truth. In fact, I think more than ever now, we need to have people that are willing to stand up and to say that what is happening in this country is wrong. What is happening in this country is backwards. None of these people that I mentioned are heroes. Thanks for joining me on this segment of Candace. If you liked this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel and ring the bell to get notifications on new videos. To watch or listen to the full show.
Wow.
woo, woo.
I'll let you go first.
I get that, and it's sad that both of them did have to die. My thing is this: I don't have a record. I try to, make the right choices. I try to be respectful to people. I just try to, be I guess a pretty good citizen. You might say, And I would think that, okay, things that I do to help improve my community or my life will be something that's looked at in a positive way. Now, for you to say that now, oh, okay, like I said, it's very sad that he died and the little girl did lose her dad. For you to say that that's the symbol of justice. So I make bad choices to be able to be a role model. Should I make bad choices to be considered a role model?
No.
Mm-mm.
I think it's more of a symbol of what not to do. Two wrongs to make a right. I see two people that was wrong. I see the police officer that put his knee on his neck, and I see Floyd where he has a history of crimes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that people can't change. If you got in trouble with the law when you was young or whatever, but you stop doing that, nobody should hold that against you if you become a law-abiding citizen. But at the end of the day, what she's saying is that up until the day that he was arrested, he had a string of crimes that he was doing, and he tried to ingest the drugs, and that was part of it. You know what I'm saying? Of him resisting. I thought it was a part where when I looked at the video that they actually took him back out of the car and he had handcuffs on him. You know what I'm saying? So if you got him in the car, why take him back out of the car? And if he's got handcuffs on him, Do you still put your knee on his neck? So yes, the guy was convicted, but do we say that Floyd is
a symbol
of justice? I say it's a symbol of just the law went wrong, and they didn't do the right thing, and Floyd was a part of something that is correcting something that makes sense when it comes to the law. Yeah, that's how I looked at it.
But he shouldn't be looked at as a
not a symbol, not a symbol or a hero.
I wouldn't see it as a symbol.
For as the girl,
that right there was crazy.
I really didn't. I heard about it, but if she has a knife.
But the police officer shot her because she was heading towards somebody else to stab them.
Did he get charged?
I can't remember that case. But okay, so you allow her to stab the other girl, or do you? I think I'm not a police officer, and I know my husband. He always said, tell me that police are trained to shoot to kill. Yeah. Okay. What was wrong with shooting a girl in the leg? What happened to wounding her instead of doing a kill shot? That's their job.
I mean, that's
their
job, man.
It's
not saying the job. That's what they're trained.
That's what they're trained to do. And yes, I would have hoped and prayed for a different outcome, but also it's just he took her life to save another life, but then it's oh my gosh. That's just what he was trained. He's just trained to kill. Right.
I said earlier, 2 wrongs don't make a right. So you have a wrong which a police officer had to make a right. And what I mean by that is he had to make a right decision. And I haven't seen the case. Maybe he could have shot her with a taser. She probably was too close to the girl, so he had to make a decision.
He was too far. Yeah,
she was probably too close to the girl, and he was too far to grab her. Yeah. Shoot a taser off, so he had to make a decision. And he had to tell her stop. We have gotten to a point where we're not blind by what the police officers are saying. We take it off in cars, and I'm glad Candace is speaking out on this, because sometimes it does take our race to say something. Because as soon as a white person says something, they racist, they don't know how it is. I'm glad we're speaking up, because enough is enough. You guys jumping out of cars running from police, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Just, man, sit in the car, man. Give me your stuff, man. You got to go to jail, man. You know what I'm saying? It's getting ridiculous when you take a car and drive off. Then now you have a vehicle, a danger. Now you consider a person with a danger vehicle fleeing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Weapon. So it's a whole weapon. So, these are the things, the knives and stuff, man, the resistance to get inside the car. This stuff could have been avoided. It could have been avoided, man. Some things can't. You got some bad apples out there with the police department, but you can't knock every police officer, man. It's like they go out there every day risking their lives, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit here and say that every police officer is bad. I got some friends as police officers, a couple of friends as police officers, and they cool cats, man. They go to work and come home, man. They have a smile on their face. They just want to get back to their family, man. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we cannot make the police officer bad. We need to learn how to. This is how I feel. If you're breaking the law, it is what it is. You got to deal with the consequences, man. But if you ain't breaking the law, you got to worry about looking behind you and all that stuff, man. When I used to be in the streets from 93 to 96, I was a hair raiser. So I have a record. She don't have nothing. That man went to print some stuff, man, from 93, 96. After 96, I wasn't doing nothing. But
they print that thing.
Candace print mine out. But she's like, damn, the man kept it. How to get a record check? Kept printing. The man looked at me. He said, dang, you gonna stop printing? I said, man, I know, man. He said, you don't even look like the guy. I said, man, I know, man. I said, man, from 93, you gotta understand, I was in the streets. I didn't have a mother or father. I had a drug dealer that took me in. So I was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So I did some crazy stuff, man. And it was mainly with drugs. So the thing is that I understand, but that you can't change. And a lot of people use the excuse as excuse of I got a record, so nobody will hire me. Build a business.
Build a business.
Stop using excuses. Do what you got to do, man. You look at a man that did what he had to do. So I dropped out of school. I met my wife, and she said, hey, look, you need to go get, your diploma, you know what I'm saying? And get in college, you need to do something.
And don't you come back here without it.
And so I did what I had to do. I had a lot of excuses. I can't do the English stuff. I said, I can't, it's too much for me. But I did what I had to do. And I got my diploma, and I went to college. I did a couple of courses, and I said, man, look, man, that's enough for me. I mean, all this doggone writing periods, man, and writing papers, man. I said, I'm good, man. I said, I'm good right now.
But you did change, and you tried out college, but then college wasn't for you, so you focus more on your business.
Yeah.
But it's not like, you did all those things, and then you still dabble in those things.
And the thing is, what I'm saying is that you can't, look at me. I'm a prime example. You can't change. We don't want to hold a record on somebody because they did something in the past. That's past. You know what I'm saying? So if Floyd did that in the past, but what she was saying, all the way up, it led all the way up.
And because he had drugs in his system up until that moment and things like that. I mean, she didn't give the exact years on all of the things that he did, but the point that she was trying to get across is, like you said, okay, yes, it was said through family members that he was trying to make a change, but of course when they checked his system and saw the drugs in his system, it's like, okay, it's hard, kind of difficult to see a change being made when you're still doing the same thing that you've done before.
And then she said something about the riots. She said something about the riots or something.
When we go out and try to protest and all the things and.
I think she said so. That's another
video. Other video.
Okay, I did so many videos.
That was the other video.
I'm sorry, but other than that, we have to make a change, man. I mean, and it is what it is. So got somebody coming in the room, but we ain't here recording, but they still come in. Just to come in, just to come in to hand a letter, and say, hey, what do you think about this? She actually right there in front of us, asking, what do you think about this?
Who died?
I'm gonna pretend someone died.
Okay, Phil.
Sorry. I like your wall.
Okay, take it out.
Okay. Sorry.
You want to be on You want to be on the thing?
No, you just yelled at me.
Love you.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, Candace keeps it real out of the gate. I mean, like and subscribe. Give your input as well, because
she was a fire. Hey, we got a fire downstairs. Or hey, I got peace. I gotta go, but it was nothing. She didn't have anything.
So simple.
Nothing.
Leave that girl alone.
But I mean, she kept it real, man. Like I said, you can't judge a person because he had a past record, and a lot of times we do that. We judge a person like we would judge a credit score. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you tore some stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And you just, man, you dang, boy. And I remember, man, I had got so to a point where when I met her, I was always, when I see the police behind me, I'm like, man, why you following me, man?
I think people not following you.
PTSD, I was still dealing with the police department, man, police officers pulling me over because I was doing stupid stuff. You got 30 guys in the car. I'm going to tell you how crazy I was. We going to Hannah Park, and I had a LTD, you know what I'm saying, Ford LTD, and we had one guy sitting in the back with the window laying in the back, 4 guys in the back, one guy laying in the back with the speakers with the windows at. Then I had three guys in the front. I'm driving, and this the kicker.
Was there 8 of y'all in there?
2 guys in the trunk wasn't there. They was right there chilling. They got in the trunk. I just want to make sure I want to clear that with y'all. 2 guys in the trunk. One guy was a military guy. They just want to go to Hannah Park. And they sat back there in the trunk and laughed, joked, man. And I'm like, how they doing this, man? But that's how crazy it looked. Now, the police pulled me over. You got one guy in the window in the back. You know where the back at. Them cars are kind of big. They're older cars. He was able to lay down where the speakers was. So what I'm saying is, when the police see that, first of all, this man got a body laying in the back. Now, they pull you over, right? You got 2 guys in the trunk. Something's wrong. That's gonna raise the red flag. So we didn't get pulled over by the police, but what I'm saying is, when you do stupid stuff like that, you draw too much attention to yourself, then you got consequences. So all I'm saying is that the things that led up to Floyd was a consequence that he did, but I'm gonna tell you this: it did expose a police officer that needed to be exposed. So him being wrong did expose something. So it was something good that came out of it. It's sad that this young man, exposing the police officer because we don't need him on the streets. We don't need him on the streets, and we have to understand, Floyd has a mother. He has a family. So at the end of the day, we're not going to beat him down, and I'm not about that. You know what I'm saying? But right is right, wrong is wrong. So I say to Candace, hey, you had to say what you needed to say, man, and it has to be said. And I always say this: we need to be more like Spartans, man. We need to start we ain't gotta beat people down, but we have to keep it real, man. And we gotta draw this line, man.
Courage. Have the courage to speak up. Have the courage to speak up. And if you don't know what to say, that's why you gotta listen.
Yeah, you gotta listen.
You gotta listen. All right, YouTube. I'm not hoping my lighting is not
y'all,
on,
man.
I'm not
I tell
sure
you,
what
a sponge, man. Throw it in some water, man. A sponge will suck up all the water, man, and no matter how much you drain it out, you throw it in the bucket again, you suck up some of the water. Eventually, that bucket will be empty. So you have to be like a sponge. Your mind have to be like a sponge. Everything I'm saying, man, suck it up, man. Soak it up and give somebody some information, man. That's why we on here, to give you something, man. The videos we show you, it's information. It's not to beat people down, to beat gay people down. It's not, man. It's not transgender people.
Not to
not beat people. I'm not even about that. I love you to death. If you a transgender, I love you. But if you come to me and say, man, this right what I'm doing, I'm gonna say you're wrong. It's not right. You're wrong. Get some help. That's all I'm gonna say. Get some help. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. I'm not here to beat you down, tear you down. At the end of the day, you got your opinion, I got my opinion, and I'm gonna give you my opinion. And all this, what they call it, I forgot what she said about people being scared to talk.
Oh, not having courage.
Yeah. It's just a pandemic of not having courage and cowardness. It's just everybody. It's just since COVID, man. I'm telling you, since COVID, some people have gotten lazy.
Yeah.
The mechanics, it's just, man, Jacksonville, Jesus help us. The truck mechanics just lazy. They don't want to. I guess they made so much money. They don't.
they think
they didn't want to answer the phone.
They got their PPP money.
You got to pull up on, hey man, you gonna work on my truck or what, man? Oh man, come on, man, I work on your truck, man. You ain't doing that. What you got, man? But other than that, man, I'm getting off topic.
But like us, subscribe, and also we've been together long enough. We have some stories to tell. So if you guys want to hear more about our path,
22 years, right?
23.
23. Oh, come on.
So if you want to hear more about our path, we're not perfect,
and that's what I want to get into. I want to get into relationships.
Yeah.
And different other topics, man. You know, so this LGBT stuff, it's cool. She get me talking about this stuff, man. I be like, oh, we don't want to talk about it.
But yes, and also
but I know we got to deal with it, man. Then but
it's a little bit different.
But other than that, I keep
talking.
talking.
All right, YouTube.
Pass.